Hello once again, this is Eric with Master Tool Repair. Today I want to explain a little bit about basic maintenance for a compressor. And this is going to be for a few different types of compressors. Here for the demonstration course we just have a typical oil bath direct drive portable compressor. And now it's going to be typically the same for every unit. Now the basics you're going to want to look for basic maintenance: air filters, oil. Want to change these out on a regular basis. For the oil, want to make sure you check this regularly, certainly oil level, whether you have an oil sight glass on the crankcase. Make sure the oil level is filled at least halfway up the oil sight glass. Or if you have a dipstick, of course, just simply read the oil level on the dipstick. And of course, if it is low, replace it with, say, a 20 or 30 weight compressor oil. Air filters, make sure they're clean. You'll have an element inside this assembly. Make sure it is clean. And if it's too dirty, you can just simply replace it or try to clean it out, but typically you need to just simply replace these. Now, as far as how often you need to replace the oil and the filters, typically if it's a home use compressor, not used very frequently, you can get away with, say, replacing the filter once a year and changing the oil out once a year to keep the compressor running at its optimum peak. If of course you're using it on job sites or anywhere where there's a dusty environment, change the filter out every 3 to 4 months to make sure, of course, we have no particulates getting into the pump, and change the oil out every 3 to 4 months as well. So you want to change these out typically in tandem with each other. And let's see, moving on to the drain cock here. The tank's very important. We suggest a Master Tool Repair to drain the tanks with every extended use. Here you have your drain cock in the tank, simply loosen it up. And of course, if you get a filmy material, if it's more white and filmy, it means you have water in the tank and oil as well, which is obviously not ideal. Now, if just water, that's okay, but we want to make sure with every extended use you drain these tanks. Eventually, can rust the unit out, the tank, you'll have a pinhole leak, and then from there there's no recovering. You have to replace the tank. So very important to keep moisture out of the tanks by draining after every extended use. All right, of course, moving on to the gauges. Want to make sure, of course, nothing leaks around the regulator pressure switch gauges. Make sure Teflon tape is on all the threads and you have no leaks. Make sure your pressure gauges do read, of course, the correct pressure. If not, then of course you could be pressurizing the unit up to a higher pressure than it's meant to. So make sure these gauges are certainly accurate. And as far as other compressors, if you have a belt-driven type of compressor or a gas-powered compressor, you want to make sure you do replace the belt on a frequent basis, as often as you replace the filter, ideally. So if the belt is frayed or torn, certainly make sure you replace the belt. Could cause the motor to slip or the belt to slip, causing further damage. For a gas type compressor, make sure you do just maintain it as you normally would. Gas compressor, carburetor, make sure it's clean. Air filters, typical tune-up for a gas engine. And of course, your pilot and loader valve for your gas engine, you want to make sure that's always clean. And as you do get particulates inside and moisture inside the pilot valve, so always make sure that is nice and clean and dry. And that's typical maintenance you want to do for your compressor, electric or gas. And once again, thank you for watching your Master Tool Repair.